The earth is like a fox on the run.
This is a message from the future to the people of the world, warning that humanity faces extinction this century as a result of global warming and climate change. Can You Save the Human Race is a master plan for the survival of humanity and an appeal for justice for the children. Act 1 is all about the panic on planet Earth and the inconvenient truth that our world is in danger, which Al Gore has warned us about. Global warming is out of control, threatening humanity with extinction. Burning fossil fuels is causing a chain reaction of environmental disasters. The carbon dioxide in the atmosphere keeps rising all the time, and the Earth's temperatures are increasing alarmingly. The glaciers and the polar ice caps are melting, and the Antarctic ice shelves are breaking up and collapsing. Sea levels are rising, threatening hundreds of millions of people with becoming environmental refugees. Hurricanes are increasing in ferocity and intensity, contributing to the worldwide flooding, which will kill billions of people by the middle of the century, according to United Nations scientists. In his film An Inconvenient Truth, Al Gore said, "Our ability to live is what is at stake." There is a state of emergency on the Earth as the global crisis threatens an apocalyptic ecological cataclysm. The human race faces extinction, Professor Peter Barrett warned in November 2004. After 40 years, I'm part of a huge community of scientists who have become alarmed with our discovery that we know from our knowledge of the ancient past that if we continue our present growth path, we are facing extinction, not in millions of years or even millennia, but by the end of this century. Could this be the end of life on Earth? The Bilderberg climate criminals of banks, corporations and governments are committing crimes against humanity, but the environmental movement is fighting back in self-defense.
Beware of the aliens. They are everywhere, destroying the planet, killing the innocent, and causing general disaster.
It's supposed to be 70 degrees today. It's freezing here. Speaking of global warming, we need some global warming. It's freezing.
The most criticized scene in the movie An Inconvenient Truth was showing that the combination of sea level rise and storm surge would flood the 9/11 memorial site, and people said, what a terrible exaggeration.
Hurricane Sandy slammed into New York City last night, flooding the World Trade Center site.
Storms get stronger and more destructive. Watch the water splash off the city. This is global warming.
It's time to put America first. That includes a promise to cancel billions in climate change spending. Our plan will end the EPA.
The next generation would be justified in looking back at us and asking, what were you thinking? Couldn't you hear what the scientists were saying? Couldn't you hear what Mother Nature was screaming at you?
This movement is in the tradition of every great movement that has advanced humankind.
We're not going to recognize it. We don't want to discuss it.
It is right to save humanity. It is wrong to pollute this earth. It is right to give hope to the future generation.
Don't let anybody tell you that we're going to get on rocket ships and live on Mars. This is our home.
I have a feeling that when she unveils her puppies to the world, she's going to suddenly become world famous. I'm not quite sure how it's going to happen, but I have a feeling that she's planning something.
Yeah. What are you planning, darling? What are you planning?
The eco-warriors in Britain are organising our Noah's Ark campaign, which is a massive worldwide publicity campaign to stop global warming and save the human race from being driven to extinction this century as a result of the burning of fossil fuels. We are friends of the Pacific warriors who are fighting to save their island nations in the South Pacific from vanishing beneath the rising sea levels as global warming floods their world. The eco-warriors' modern-day version of Noah's Ark will be the travelling school for eco-warriors, publishing and broadcasting the truth about the danger of global warming, which threatens to wipe out all life on Earth, including the human race. The burning of fossil fuels is causing climate change, and Earth's temperatures are increasing, melting the polar ice caps and raising the sea levels, threatening worldwide flooding, which will kill billions of people, according to United Nations scientists. The melting methane hydrate gas in the polar regions threatens an ecological cataclysm that will make the Earth completely uninhabitable within 20 years, and humanity is facing extinction. The eco-warriors are attempting to change the future and ensure the survival of future generations by offering our solutions to the global environmental crisis. The only possible answer to stop global warming will be for the whole world to stop the burning of fossil fuels and to close down the fossil fuel industries, which are causing global warming and climate change. To help stop the imminent genocide of humanity that is being caused by the capitalist Bilderberg Group of banks, corporations and governments that are destroying the planet and wiping out all life on Earth, the eco-warriors are offering the people of the world our reality TV show for the children, which is entitled, Can You Save the Human Race?
We have to go and then come back. It's a round trip.
So should I blow off channel 4 real quick? It'll take like, I'll do like 3 minutes.
Well, obviously do then. But
Well, it's good. Where's Charlie at? Is he going with us?
No, I think he's going right on his keys. Yeah.
Still here, Alex.
Bye. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just got like 4 minutes.
Can we film you this way? If that's okay.
However you like, sir.
Yeah, it's okay.
Where's Richard?
Right here.
Hey, bro, will you hold my stuff? I'll get it back for you in a minute. Great job, Richard. We need to get the crew some food.
We'll hit this side, yeah?
Yeah, you're grand, yeah.
Okay,
No, the other side. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, sir. Then we're away.
3, 2, 1. So, what are you hoping to achieve here, given what's going on with them?
It's been our job and our main goal just to expose there are powerful lobbying groups and organizations like Bilderberg above government that are transnational that come in and basically lobby governments to give them corporate bailouts, to buy weapons systems. There's all sorts of collusion going on here. There were Lockheed Martin investigations in the 70s. That's why the founder, Prince Bernhard, had to step down. There's just all sorts of shady goings on, price fixing, you name it. Over the years, via WikiLeaks, but before that, even the BBC and others broke a lot of news out of Bilderberg where they were indeed inside setting policy. And they've refused Freedom of Information Act request as well, saying that policy is being made. But then the Bilderberg Group separately says policy is not being made. The Bilderberg Group is basically a world shadow government. It is a legendary organization within government, within people in Congress and your parliament. They all know about it. They all lust to be invited. Because if you get invited here, you end up being president or prime minister. But then, meanwhile, they tell the public it doesn't exist.
Well, it clearly exists.
Well, in the past, the New York Times, just 4 years ago, said that I was in Chantilly at a Bilderberg meeting covering it, and that it was imaginary, that I imagined helicopters and Secret Service and black vehicles. And they told their readers that I had a full-on insane breakdown and that it didn't exist. But we had all the YouTube videos. I made a film that was seen more than 40 million times online, The Obama Deception, showing it all, so they were discredited. So I've never seen such a news blackout as we have in the United States. It's been better here, but the dam has broken on the blackout of Bilderberg. You've got your prime minister coming here today. That shows that they've gone from trying to be secret, so they're not under the light of publicity, to now saying, okay, we're no big deal. We're kind of like a G20 meeting.
It's a curious coalition here. Not everybody's going to agree with some of your, say, your politics as stated in America on other issues. I mean, there's some fairly left-wing voices here. You're hardcore libertarian. How do you map through those differences?
Well, I'm really a populist who does believe in libertarian ideas when they're actually brought forth from the grassroots. And
there's loads of left-wingers here who probably thought Obama was a bit of a hero. You don't agree with those guys, do you?
Hey, let me ask you think Obama's a hero?
No! No, ever!
Hey, do you think George Bush is a hero? No! Okay, no. People are fed up. They know the system is a fraud. They know it's a scam. They know there's people above prime ministers and presidents that are pulling the strings. We want to talk about the puppeteers, not the puppets. And that's what's happening, is really an end of the naivety. What we're seeing happen is an end of the incredible naivete of the general public to actually believe the media and the government when they say there's no secret rooms, there's no manipulation going on. When
there's not secret anymore, is it?
No, but they tried to keep it secret. They tried to have media they controlled for decades say it didn't exist, or now that it doesn't have any power, or those of us that criticize it are conspiracy theorists. When we've gotten their minutes, we know they created the European Union as a system to implode countries under corporate governance. We know that they lobbied years before for the Iraq War I and Iraq War II and tried to create the climate so that those wars would happen. This is about as evil as you get on this planet. This is a global corporate government that is trying to take over the entire planet. They're not in full control yet, but they are a world government that is basically learning to walk right now, and it wants to run.
Right now, on the day that this meeting's happened, we've had this story that the National Security Agency in your country, in America, has got access to all sorts of US data, tech company data. Some of the tech bosses are in there. What's your kind of response to that development? Do you trust data in your own country from these large tech companies?
For 18 years on air, I've exposed that all communications in the Western world, whether it's the EU, the UK, or the United States, run through hubs and are recorded. In the old days, it was just text, they say. This is all in Congress. The media just wouldn't touch it because we're free countries. We're not recording you. And now they come out and say, you know what, we've audio recorded everything you've said the last decade, so watch it. This is the establishment coming out and saying, you bet we're listening. And you bet if you criticize us, the IRS is going to come and we're going to audit you. So sit down and shut up, peasants. That's what's happening. And I was called a conspiracy theorist on national U.S. TV. Alex Jones says the government's spying on you without warrants and recording your phone calls. When it was in the Telecommunications Act of 1996, $9 billion to fund the upgrade of huge computer hubs in all telecommunications to record everything. They have giant NSA bases down the street from my house in Austin, Texas. They have a huge one in San Antonio, 60 miles away. They have them in every state, giant compounds with black helicopters and men with guns and machine guns recording everything. And if you go and put a camera on it, they come out and arrest you. And then the media won't cover it because those bases don't exist. They're right next to a Walmart in San Antonio. Thousands of acres, giant compounds, helicopters, men with masks on. None of it exists. And then I'm going, it exists. They're like, crazy, crazy man. There's no NSA. There's no spying. There's no torture. There's no corruption. The government loves you. Everything's fine. Piers Morgan cares about you. Well, I'm here to tell everybody something right now. I'm here to tell all the globalists and all the sellouts. The answer to your 1984 tyranny is 1776! Worldwide! 1776! 1776! 1776! And by the way, 1776 is not about America versus England. The Parliament almost voted to give freedom to the colonies, and the king came down and demanded they declare war. The fight in the colonies was a 1,000-year war they'd had in these isles for freedom in England, in Ireland, in Scotland, in Wales, everywhere. It's a human fight for the Magna Carta that Tony Blair, when he first got elected, declared he would kill. That is treason. You want to know why you're a slave? They're trying to kill your Magna Carta, your due process, so they're above the law. And that's why we're here. The New World Order is not above the law. And liberty is rising!
Right now, though, Facebook, Apple, Google, YouTube, Skype, it's just been revealed that almost all of those networks have a back passage, as it were, in from the US government, from the NSA. What would you say to individuals in terms of what this means about the relationship with the state?
Google is the state. Facebook is the state. Google was set up with funding from In-Q-Tel and the CIA. That's mainstream news. But government has more scrutiny on it than private corporations, so they set up these subgroups under it so that they can then claim that they have corporate deniability. Google, Facebook, Twitter, all of them serve the global corporate interest. They're spying on everybody. Google's on record driving around with Google cars, stealing everyone's data, breaking into passcodes. Meanwhile, you do that with some cops, you go to jail in the UK. That's just because the low-level cops aren't supposed to get into the big-time game of spying on people, hacking phones. You hack phones, you go to jail. You spy on everybody illegally, well, they make you king.
Do you have a problem with them using this technology to root out security problems?
The Al-Qaeda threat is run by the globalists. They created them on record. They ran them in Libya. They run them in Syria. The New World Order is staging the bombings in India. It's provocateuring the bombings here. It is going out and finding mentally ill people in every case, even the New York Times reports, and they're totally discredited, but they have to admit that our government has created over 100 fake terror attacks by going out and finding mentally ill people. They use the pretext of a terror threat to spy on everyone, and now it turns out it's to spy on constitutionalists, nationalists, people that love freedom. Members of Congress are being spied on by the NSA. Why? Because they're Al-Qaeda? No. Big Brother uses the excuse of Al-Qaeda that they run to take our liberty. And we're now at a critical crossroads because all this is coming out. And if people make the decision collectively to say, well, that's okay, then we go deep into tyranny. We're at that crossroads where all this open evil either wakes us up and we reverse the pendulum from tyranny back to liberty, or we just kind of give into it and go, okay, Bob got disappeared because, you know, he might have been a security threat, or, yeah, they're spying on you. That's to keep us safe. This is pure classical authoritarianism, and it has come to the United States. It has come to England. It has come to Europe.
Well, you seem to have won the argument amongst this audience, but the masses don't seem to care about their privacy being taken from them. They're writing.
You don't speak for the masses.
I don't speak for them, but I'm saying by evidence they seem to put whatever, you know, all of their personal data on Facebook for free forever. All of the tweets seem to go out
because they were promised by Google and all of them that they weren't saving it. But now that they're discovering that they were lied to, they are becoming angry. And the average person is doing nothing wrong, so they feel like, well, that's okay, the government's nice. But now they find out the government's corrupt and run by piratical interest, and now people are upset saying, I don't want you to have my data.
Great, thanks very much.
Thank you very much. You ready to go? Yeah, we're late. Let's go.
Thank you. Take this interview without editing it. Please don't call it a conspiracy theorist. Cool. Let's do this camera. All right.
Take a couple, go on, take a couple. You never know. There you go. Are you ready?
We were the only TV programme ever to release the legal opinion on the Iraq War. We revealed that my colleagues revealed the fact that...
you don't need to reveal that for us to know it's a fact.
No, you
what
don't.
You need to start reporting on is real facts, what's going on here and now. Not the Iraq War.
What about the city? What about the city without getting the Secretary of State to agree with it?
Channel 4 News does not need to tell us that the Iraq War was illegal for it to be a fact. The fact that you reported on it, brilliant, but it's a fact. You don't need Channel 4 News to tell us to make it a reality. Why don't you report on the rest of the crap? Why don't you talk on it?
Have you watched all the Channel 4 News?
Owned by the state.
It's not the same thing.
What you just said is owned by the
No, you didn't. It was funded. You're totally wrong.
No, I said the state is state funded. I said it's owned by the government.
No, you didn't. Now you're lying.
So what is the state then? What is the state? Yeah.
Owns the company.
Exactly. What is the state? The state is the government, isn't it? You're just twisting words.
You're shouting.
Who's asking your fucking opinion, mate? Me? Yeah. Did I fucking ask you?
No.
So you're not enjoying yourself. No. This is very. I know. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, it's quite a good turnout, and hopefully there'll be more for Saturday, and Sunday can finish it off nicely.
Right. Tech companies named in today's PRISM documents. Can you just maybe slightly go out of shot?
Yeah. Okay.
Is that okay? You're just creeping in. You can be in shot, but if you're filming us, it looks a bit weird. But if you just, is that okay?
Well, he's filming you.
It's okay to film.
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2. So over there, the world's power elite are gathering prime ministers, the bosses of multinational companies, even the bosses of some of the tech companies named in those PRISM documents. Over here, the other side of the barrier, the general public begins. And the revelations this morning may have shattered the illusions of privacy once and for all. It came as no surprise to many here. Yeah?
Yeah.
Talk about that. I mean, did you read that story from this morning about the NSA? Do you know
No,
about the data?
I don't know about it.
Because we're really focused on that, really.
I know about the technology that gets sold to phone companies and the whole technology industry to gather information and send it back to intelligence agencies.
Well, let's give it a go because we're pretty focused on that today.
I was going to talk. What do we want to discuss?
Well, I mean, really, we're just gathering. Many of the guys here will come as no surprise that tech companies, like popular tech companies, probably I know your mates from school.
Yeah.
They all use these companies.
Yeah.
I guess. Did you have any expectation of those communications being private?
What sort of communication?
Like Facebook and Google and YouTube.
Well, it's so easy to hack a computer nowadays that it's never going to stay private unless you've got an amazing security system on your own computer. It doesn't matter if the CIA own Facebook or any conspiracy like that. Many people have the means to access your computer remotely.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter who they are. Just the fact that the government just have more means to do it because they have more power.
I'll just start having a chat.
Yeah,
ready? Just Daniel, your name if you.
Daniel Cooper.
And how old are you?
16.
Okay, great. It doesn't seem to come as much of a surprise to people here that tech companies are cooperating with US government and offering routes into
they have been forever. It's just the relationship between business and government has become so close, as you can see here, and it becomes so secret from the public when they have so much power over the public, and they create the policies that the public live by. They give them the technologies that the public use in every day-to-day life, but we can't just talk to them.
Some would say that, particularly from your generation, teenagers, no one really cares about privacy anymore. They're putting everything on Facebook.
Well, it's not that they don't care. They don't know about it. They don't know that Facebook could be run by the CIA. They're not fully aware that their computer can be hacked like that. They just don't know. There's no awareness of it. That's the thing.
Well, do you think they'd really... I mean, if you look at the stuff that an average teenager would put on Facebook, to me it shows they don't even care about privacy, so why should they care if governments are hacking into their email?
The kids don't get taught anything in school, so how are they ever going to put anything worthwhile on Facebook? They get shown how to be by the outside world, the magazines, yeah? The school just lets them process information in a certain way. It doesn't teach them about the real world. If you just put a kid out into the real world, yeah, if Barack Obama's kid went with him to, you know, his job, he'd say, Daddy, why are you shooting, you know, why are you shooting the Middle East? Why are there wars? If we just let the kids go out into the world without being forced through education until they're nearly an adult and they're dependent on the system, yeah, the kids would ask questions. They wouldn't need Facebook. Maybe they're saying how the world should be. Because people are born good. Yeah, the world corrupts us.
Do you expect privacy when you're working on your computer?
I know I don't have any privacy. I know, you know, that guy hacked into the bloody CIA. Sure, the CIA can hack into him. You know, it's simple. You know, I don't trust my webcam, but I can't be bothered to cover it up because I don't really care who's watching me.
Do you think you might be being watched through your webcam?
Well, no, I don't care. I'm saying, you know, it's easily possible that someone could tap into it, but I really couldn't care less. You know, the CCTV cameras watching me. You know, there could be a drone right now without me knowing. You know, we got to that point where there's so much secrecy and so much observation of the public that it really doesn't matter anymore.
Isn't it over? Isn't it? This stuff is never going to be put back in the can now. The ability to watch people.
What do you mean? It's just there forever, and we can't get rid of it.
Isn't it?
Well, you know, we could easily smash every security camera in the world. You know, there's enough people to do that. So no, it's never over. It's never over until there's no people to smash them up. It's never over until there's no one with a voice.
Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate that.
Cheers.
You're going to be a good spokesman, or you are a good spokesman.
I'm here.
Okay, stand by. Rolling. Action.
My name's Gregory Sams, and I'm here because I've been doing this sort of thing since 1967 when I catered the first Glastonbury Festival, which was a bit of a rebel event going on there, and I just thought I had to be here for the Bilderberg meeting and see what's going on and be part of exposing it to the public glare.
What do you think about today, the way it's being conducted and the vibe?
I think it's fantastic that they've A, pulled this off, and B, pulled it off at such short notice, considering what a secret gathering this is and how fenced off it is, that I'm very impressed that I suppose we got this bit of land to do this.
A different approach this time.
Yeah? How was the approach?
Yeah.
Different?
Yeah, well, just perhaps more and that they're strictly not doing that.
Right.
So, what do you think about the state of play in the planet? You've witnessed a lot. You've been an aware person for some time.
Well, I'm giving a talk today, and I wrote a book, 1998, called Uncommon Sense, Is the State Out of Date? And you know, we're very concerned about corporations taking over the world, but the real problem and what they're able to take over is the state. Because you don't find corporations with standing armies, stocks of bombs, and tear gas, unless they're manufacturing it. You do that with the state, and the corporations need the state. Pharmaceutical companies cannot force us to take their drugs. They can't shut down herbalist practitioners. Whereas with the state, they can. They can initiate legislation. With 3 lobbyists for every senator and congressman in America, they can convince them that children have to be vaccinated. In America now, you can have your children taken away from you if you refuse to have them vaccinated.
I know someone that's had that happen to them here in the UK.
And the problem is the state, not the corporations, because somebody will always run the state. And just a few hundred years ago, when the church was the power behind the state, you could be killed as a witch for practicing herbalism. And heaven forbid, if you wanted to get into sun worship or moon worship, you could go to jail for blasphemy and not attending church. Playing musical instruments was banned in Geneva, or dancing or singing for 100 years or more. So somebody's always going to run this mechanism. And the point I'm making today really is that it's a new mechanism. It's only 5% of the period that modern human beings have been on Earth that we've had this top-down control from the state. 4,500 years, we've been here 100,000. We've had civilization and culture for 35. So it's not, there's nothing certain in life but death and taxes. Taxes is a new phenomenon. This idea that people can reach into your pocket, or even before you get the money, take it away from you without even having to hold a knife to you. It's an extraordinary concept that this is going on. And this really represents what is the most corrupted aspect of it when it's controlled by outside interests. But the only real purpose of the state is to protect us from other versions of themselves. Getting involved in housing, education, medicine, agriculture, everything they touch, it's like the opposite of the Midas touch. Everything turns to mud that they get involved in. And that's the point I want to make, is people keep thinking, well, the government should do this, they should do that. They shouldn't do anything, because we're really, really good at doing stuff ourselves. And we don't think about how wonderful the shoe industry is, or telecommunications, and all these things that we've developed from the bottom up without anybody planning for smartphones or planning for airline networks and things. We do that brilliantly. And that's our real message. Stop expecting the state to do things, and perhaps the withering away process will begin. It's been completely upgraded and is coming out in September with a new title, which I'm still arguing with the publishers on. It'll be a $2.99 ebook, and it'll be a hardback next year. So that's common sense. The state is out of date. And
Thank you very much.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome.
That's brilliant.
Okay.
Did I give you a card?
Getting together and plotting some of their evil deeds. And we have a lot of talk today about, corporate takeover of the world. And I'm really sort of separating this corporate political thing, because you don't find companies with standing armies, stocks of bombs, hand grenades, and tear gas in their working cupboards. They need the coercive state to do their nasty work. Pharmaceutical companies cannot force you to give injections or vaccines to your children. They can't force you to put a particular type of petrol in your car, or to have a license in order to touch people with therapy, as you do in California, America. They need the state, the coercive powers of the state. And we've all heard the saying, it was Winston Churchill who said, no, it wasn't Winston Churchill, excuse me. It was Benjamin Franklin said, there is nothing certain in life except death and taxes. Well, death has always been a part of life. But taxes come with the coercive state. There's nothing natural or inevitable about there being a body of people who have the right to dip into your pocket and take money out of it that you have actually earned without holding a knife or a gun to your head. And this is not an inevitable part of life. And in fact, we've only had this coercive state for 5% of the time that we've been on Earth as modern humans. We've been here 100,000 years as modern humans. We've had some civilization and culture for 30,000 of those years. And it's only 4,500 years ago that the coercive state came into being. And if you go to the British Museum, I was there just a week ago, and you go into the Sumerian section and Mesopotamian section. I've got to get some water. I always get a dry throat when I'm speaking in public. I don't know why.
About streamlining the video. More than welcome.
Oh, great. Well, that's very gracious. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Hi, how you doing?
Well, God bless.
Cheers, mate.
Good job.
Yeah, no problem. So let's hope we get a good number in tomorrow, eh? There's going to be people coming a long way tomorrow, I'll tell you that. Cheers, mate. Hello, mate.
Hello, how you doing?
Hello, mate. Nice to meet you.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, mate.
Yeah, I've had the Holy Spirit, folks. Come with the Holy Spirit, it's going to sort this out. Jesus Christ is the only answer. The gospel message is the only thing we should be considering. The weapons of warfare are not carnal.
Hello, mate. Nice to meet you. Hello, Peter. Hello, mate. Nice to meet you. Hello, mate. Hello. Nice to meet you. Hey. Hello, mate.
Sorry.
How are you?
Yeah, we're good. Good to see you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Hello, mate. Hey.
Yes, David, I've been following you since I was about 10, 11.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, mate.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I love that.
Una figura, o sea, un tipo...
Hi,
No,
Dave.
how are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm good.
I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going for my daughter's birthday now, but I'll see you tomorrow too.
Okay, 2 o'clock. Where's your tent?
That's our tent.
Is it good? Is it
Mark
good in
Anderson,
tent?
American
That's brilliant, that. I've seen you on the internet.
Mark Anderson's in those. American Free Press.
Oh, okay. Where's that?
Alex is down the bottom, down there.
Oh, I've got some water. So where's this bloody hotel they're doing? Oh, there it is. Yeah.
David.
Hello, mate.
Sir. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. It's it. Cheers, mate. Top man. Sorry. Feel like the Queen.
What about the Queen, David?
Hello, James. Hello, sir. We get a lot of people there tomorrow, I hope.
Hi, David.
Hello, darling. Nice to meet you. Give us a cuddle.
Oh,
You got a cuddly face, you see.
thank you.
Hello, mate. Nice to meet you. Am I working my way towards Alex Jones? Am I?
Yeah.
Picture with you, David. Where is he?
Where?
Alex!
David, do you mind that? He's just there, look.
Where is he?
Just there, just near the loo.
Sorry. Oh, really? Near the loo? Alex!
Now look at that.
Hey! At last!
Hey, man, good to see you.
Good.
Good to meet you. Good.
Lads, just to see.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, the lads. I love yous.
Yeah, I've been out here all day, pretty much. It's been pretty crazy. You want to shoot some video here real quick?
on a boat.
Listen, I hate to get you here at the thing and then have you run off to the hotel to do a radio interview. So what do you want to do? The radio show's already going. I got a guy sitting in there doing it. We could go over there and do the show right now.
Okay.
Or in 15 minutes if you say hi to everybody or whatever. It'll take another 20 to get over there.
Okay.
Our car's right there.
Okay.
And then we can take you wherever you wanted after that. And we can also talk about tomorrow.
All right, no problem.
Isn't it great having David here? Feel like I know you, man.
Hey, thanks, chaps. You know, the first Bilderberg meeting location I ever went was 1995 in Switzerland. It was at the top of a mountain, and they wouldn't even let you on the mountain in 1995. And now look at it. Eh? People said Bilderberg Group, never heard of it. Well, they have now, haven't they? What a great moment this is. Get loads of people.
What the cops think when they saw you?
Yeah, we get loads of people here tomorrow, I hope.
Oh yeah, well there've been a lot of other people here too, but they come and go, and the police have been directing them like 8 miles away.
Yeah.
When people show up, they go, "Oh, you go to this park 8 miles away," and then they make you walk in, and then they selectively. If you know the town council said this is parking for us, if you tell the cops that, they go, "Now you can park." But if you don't know that, they say go. So there's all parking right over here, designated by the town council, but they won't let anybody have it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
We love you, David.
That's when I go into my pocket. I was like,
Cheers, darling.
Alex and David, can we get a photograph of you this way?
You know, look at that. We're going to board Air Force One. Hey, you know what's incredible? Is that now David Cameron's coming to this, now they're acting like it's no big deal. First it didn't exist, then we were stupid to say that it had any power. Now the Prime Minister any minute is reportedly going to arrive, and they've got the police stacking up so that he can go in. Just really incredible.
It's a bit of a threat, isn't it, the police?
Listen, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, the thing is, though, they've reached the point now where the genie's out of the bottle, you see. The genie's out of the bottle.
So now they've got to act like it's no big deal.
Yeah, they can't put it back in.
Now this one's out in the open, there'll just be another secret group we don't know about.
Yeah,
but people know what to look for now.
Yeah, well, fair play.
Plus people are aware that there's shadow groups and illegal lobbying going on.
Don't you think David Cameron prefers the back entrance?
Peter Anderson does, doesn't he?
Want to make a phone tomorrow?
David, would you have a word for the attendant of the Bilderberg?
No. They just need all the help they can get.
Syria.
They're in trouble.
War in Syria.
Yeah.
What do you think of it? Is this a holy war?
Alex, it's spiritual.
The whole of that is playing two sides of the same people up against each other. So another
I'm good. I'm good.
That's
good for now. Here, I'll get a shot.
I'll talk about it tomorrow, actually.
I'm going to go and get a battery.
Have you got anything to say to all of us, David?
Well, the thing I've got to say more than anything else is, you know, when I think back 20, 23, 4 years, and the amount of people that knew anything about this was so tiny, and yet now this is a really major moment. This, not just here, but in the way that the knowledge of this organisation's got out, because they're coming out of the shadows. And this is such a wonderful, symbolic part of the web, because it's a point that people can relate to. If you go deep in the rabbit hole, where they're you're talking about things that people are going, he said what? That's another thing. But this is a point that people can relate to, because what it is simply, what we've been saying all these years is, if you look at the corporations and the banks and the governments and the political parties, in the end they're all controlled by the same people. They're different masks on the same face, and here we have the absolute living proof of that this weekend in that hotel, where, I mean, what's the point of having lobby laws when the buggers get under the same roof? You know, but this is a wake-up call for a lot of people. I know it is from people that I've talked to this week. It's like, what do you mean they're meeting in secret? What are they doing? And this is why the genie will never go back in the bottle. A lot of people are going to start to open their minds to the world being very different to what they thought it was because of this thing this weekend.
What are you going to speak about tomorrow night?
Oh, I think I will speak about loads of things. Whatever comes into my mind. But
goalkeeping. How are you going to keep it under 13 hours?
Loads of things. Yeah, well, that's the point. I've had the crystal healing, and I've had the hands-on healing, but I can't shift this verbal diarrhea. That's the truth. I can't.
No, it's not diarrhea, man.
So yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of things I like to say, because you can put this into a much bigger context of what's happening today. Because this, do I?
Yeah. Exactly. Everybody wants to hear.
Anyway, I don't know how to hold one of those. Alex is the expert on the megaphone.
Alex, you start talking.
But I'm going to come here tomorrow. I'll be here most of the day tomorrow. So
Great.
I'm going to talk at some length, if people want me to talk at some length about this stuff and the context that this can be put into on a wider way. It's just a great moment. I just hope that loads and loads of people turn up here tomorrow and make a statement. We ain't having it anymore, because this is a really major opportunity we're looking at here.
Well, it's already been a big defeat. There's probably 20 times the coverage has ever been.
Yeah.
They're having to admit it, and the mainstream media used to try to deny this even existed. So how big of a defeat is that for them?
Well,
I mean, I see this as a real turning point.
The thing is, if it stopped now and we all went home, we've made massive strides in the last few days. Just in the mainstream media acknowledgement of the fact that it exists. But if we can get a lot of people here tomorrow, we can make a massive statement.
Well, we've got to work now on getting the police to not misdirect people. Because they did that to us when we were on the other side of it. They kept saying, go on down the road a little more, and then down the road, and then I was like 3 miles away trying to walk back. That's what they're doing to everybody.
Well, it's just like I said to the guy who was doing his kind of, thing with his stick and stuff when you come in, the old security. Yeah, I said, what's happening here is the prisoners are policing the prison, but they can't see it. That's a thing, an area we have to get to, and that is to get those in uniform and the dark suits that administer it and don't know that what they're doing, and the fact that their children and grandchildren are in the gun sight as well, to realise that they shouldn't be protecting them from us, they should be protecting us from them. That's what they should be doing. That's the dynamic, but they don't. This is the way it works. And what we've got here is a real symbolism is very powerful. And what we've got here is a symbol of the world, because what they want to create is a Hunger Games type world in which you have a tiny, tiny few that are unbelievably mega rich. And you think you'd go from poor through what they call middle class to rich. If you look at the graphs now, it's going down there and then suddenly whoop with the 1%. And in some of the graphs, they are so rich that it actually goes off the page and they have to put the top of the graph next to it. And this is what they want. They want a society in which there is a mega, mega rich and everyone else is mega poor. And in the middle of that are the dark suit administrators and the uniforms to administer the 1% agenda on the mega poor masses. So here we have a situation here where you've got 140 people meeting there. You've got a ring of steel around them, so they are cut off from us, exactly what the Hunger Games Society is supposed to be. And then you've got the uniforms administering that and protecting that from the mass of the people. That is precisely the dynamic that they want that global society.
And that's why they're engineering it to make us poor in their own Agenda 21 so that they can then control the services and make us beg for crumbs. And they brag about this. In fact, a few years ago, they openly said we want to make people so poor they can't come protest us.
Well, this is the point. You know, 'cause we're going to go do this interview now, but I'll be here tomorrow. But this is the point of what's going on economically. What they've done is crash the economy in 2008 and done it on purpose. And then they started a massive, phenomenal, unprecedented transfer of wealth from the mass of the people to this elite through the banking system. So, first stage of that was crash the banking system, and then you get governments to bail out the banks. Now it's a banking problem has become a government problem. The next stage of that, and this is what Cyprus was all about, was to go into a point where, having taken the banking problem and into a government problem, you then pass it on, this is what's happening now, to the people as an austerity problem. And so this transfer of wealth is going from banks, the banking system, or to the banking system, through government, from the people. People, government, banks. Cyprus was about going to the next stage of that and not even going through governments to steal from the people, but going direct into their bloody bank accounts. Yeah. And the point being, the power of precedent is massive. And having set it in Cyprus, then when the next banking crisis comes, and it's all planned, of course, it'll be discussed in there over the weekend, possibly now, they are going to say, well, hold on a second. We can't, governments, bail out the banks anymore. What about the people of Cyprus? We can't let them have their, money taken from their bank account and then say that it's not happening elsewhere. This is what the European Union is going to say. And therefore, the idea is to transfer wealth, not just via governments to the banks and the elite, but actually from bank accounts alone. And the point is, and I'll say this to anyone who wants to listen, who has got lots of money now and thinks, well, I'm all right, Jack, never mind what's happening in bloody Watford and what those people are doing.
They're going to devalue it.
What they've got to understand, these people now who are seriously rich, if you are not part of this network, they want your money too. So we're in this together. And if they divide and rule us by saying, well, it's not my problem, or it's not my problem, and then suddenly knock, 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 can I talk to you, sir? Well, it is your problem. But all the people that could have stood by your side have already been picked off while you were looking the other way. This is why we need to come together. Because if you're not part of this elite, they want your money. They want your poor. And this is a massive, massive moment. I think tomorrow could be one of the days that we look back and say, that's the time.
The world woke up.
That's the time.
Ravy, can you confirm what time you'll be here tomorrow?
I'll be here late morning and then for the rest of the day.
That's right. He's going to do my radio show right now.
Thanks ever so much, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Alex.
Yeah, of course.
Nice to meet you, man.
Hey, Watson. Yeah. Steve's busy going and getting her stuff. Here's Paul Watson.
Hey, hello, mate.
He's going to lead you over to the car.
Okay.
Come on. All right, I'm going to go get my reporter. Just take your time, Watson.
Dave, what about the Jordan Guy Stones?
I'll see.
Jordan Guy Stones.
Hey?
What about the Jordan Guy Stones?
Oh yeah.
What about the reason why they got rid of Saddam Hussein? Because he wanted to start trading in dollars instead of euros instead of dollars.
Is your friend ready?
Yeah, sure, mate. You got a camera? Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Nice to meet you. I'll see you tomorrow. No problem.
What time are you talking tomorrow, David?
Isn't it great? Nice people give the greatest cuddles.
Can I get a picture of you, mate?
No problem, mate, yeah.
Thank you very much.
I did this interview with the radio. We're coming back. Hello. Come on, we're coming back.
Kick Alex in there as well.
The show's going to be on here. The place where you give them the radio, and it'll be over anyways now. So.
Get on the radio.
It's already on for an hour.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
See you tomorrow, guys.
In the rugby, what's it called, a scrub? Scrum. Let's run through in the scrum.
No. There's a turning point.
All right.
2013.
We're coming right back.
Turning point.
I think
Yeah, I'm
it's
coming
the
back.
turning point is wider
I'm not ignoring
mainstream
anybody.
public awareness. And at a time when people are starting to realise they're being stitched up.
All right, through the scrum.
Yeah,
through the scrum.
Oh, nice one.
All right. Good work.
Cheers. I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you at the car. Let's go.
I'm going to stay and get the shot, okay?
Cheers, mate.
I don't know. We're not going to I don't know.
Are you going to be here tomorrow?
Yes, I will.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you wanted my...
We'll give it some welly tomorrow.
biggest inspiration of you.
No problem, darling. There you
I
go.
don't know how it'll work, but anyway.
Is that work?
Yes.
You want to know how these work?
Could someone press this?
Yeah,
That'd be amazing.
there's a radio with you. So I'm going to pretty much go.
Yes, Simon Levi!
Ready when you are, though.
I'm going to run in the
I can, yeah.
Yeah, if you could include that tomorrow, because that really opens tomorrow.
My turn.
Go on, darling.
1969.
This way, David.
Which one, that one?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Cheers. I'll see you tomorrow, darling.
Let's get the scrum going here.
See ya.
Are you off then, Alex?
Yeah.
I want to check on myself.
I love what you did on the marathon.
I live in...
Oh, God, boys, we're just trying to cover the facts.
About 5. Yeah.
And I live in Wales.
This is Sean. That's the whole thing. You've got a card.
All right. Towards Jesus Christ.
V formation in the scrum.
We'll contact you.
I'm on the
Direct men to the word of God, Jesus Christ.
Man, I got to do this interview and I'm coming back.
Alex, you need to get right with the Lord. You need to stay away from that Kundalini spirit. You hear me? David.
You get the scrum here.
Oh, I'm Is that all right? Can I come back?
So far.
I'll give you a call. I'll drop you a name. You nearly came and you didn't. I'd like to have you on sometime.
How did you contact me last time?
Through your agent.
We have a loop at all.
Let's do it here. When we're here, we can live stream from here.
Well, let's see how we go tomorrow. I'm going to be here about lunchtime, all day.
Right, super. Thanks very much.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Shake his hand.
Thanks, David.
Cheers, mate.
Alex,
nice to meet you.
good guy, man. Good guy.
Portugal. Fantastic. Tomorrow? Well, we'll sort it out tomorrow.
Me and David on.
We'll sort it out tomorrow. They had a Bilderberg meeting in just outside Lisbon, didn't they, recently? Yeah, a few years ago. Sorry.
Sorry, David. Just press that. Press it. Sorry, mate.
Go
Sorry.
ahead, no problem. I wouldn't, but as an interview this live.
I don't have an iPhone.
Hold on. What can we hope for, David?
Yeah, is that done? All right, cool.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, David. I know you've got
A world that we couldn't dream of. Hello, Don. All right. Yeah, I'm good.
Wow.
Anyway, I'll be here tomorrow.
Okay, I'll see you. I'll be at the show.
Oh, wow. It's here tomorrow, too. Excellent.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Excellent.
The last speaker? Oh, I didn't quite hear what she was saying, but I know she's from Canada.
What do you think about the Bilderbergs and stuff then?
The Bilderbergs, I send them love because I know they need help because what they're doing to our beautiful earth. And the reason I'm here is to give as much love as I can to people and show everyone my artwork. Yeah, so I've got lots of art to show everyone, which will be happening tomorrow, on Saturday. And yeah, I come to spread love. That's why I'm here.
Nice. So you'll be here tomorrow then?
Yeah, of course. Tomorrow and Sunday, I'm thinking. Hoping the weather's nice.
Where are you from originally? We're from London? Or?
East London, Hackney, or Bethnal Green. Yeah.
And who are you here with today?
I'm here with some beautiful people, quite a few people actually. But yeah, for a good reason as well. So to show the Bilderbergs over there that we actually care about what they're doing.
Nice.
Yeah.
And is there a campsite or something?
Is there, sorry?
People were camping here, is that right?
Camping here, yeah, and another campsite, I think. Yeah.
Cool, one more sign.
We love you.
Okay, and name that and just say, I don't mind if you use this interview as media.
I don't mind if you use this interview for media.
Your name is?
Francesca McHugh.
Excellent, thank you, Francesca.
Thank you.
Cool, cool. I'll probably see you tomorrow, you darling.
Yeah, what's your name?
Shane.
Shane.
I'll give you a hug.
Give me a hug.
Hey, hola.
Thank you, Shane.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I did the protest about the banks a few.
That's enough, but yeah. Obviously, we've been out here all day. I mean, yeah, I'm so exhausted now.
Really doing much too much work. So, how did this all get organized? I know there was sort of
Yes, you did.
It's your birthday, yeah?
Yeah.
Looking forward to it?
Oh, yes.
Then I'll go to travel far.
Yeah, come back. Thank you.
I love you all.
nothing ropes, search, metal detected, bag search, any drinks have to be thrown away, you can't take them in.
the alternative media, the free media, who have been following this event and similar things in the world for a long time and have been banging on this particular drum for a long time. And this is the fruit of it. The fruit of it was, one of the little fruits of it was my turning up in 2009 to cover it in Athens, because I read about it in the alternative media. I went along. I didn't even really know it was going to be in Athens. I saw one little link on an internet forum somewhere and thought, okay, why not? I'll go along and write about it. So I went along, and there was barely 10, 12 people outside, and absolutely no mainstream media. I barely counted myself as mainstream media, but I was blogging it for The Guardian. And I haven't yet invoiced for any of them. No, questions after the end. So, yeah, I want you to imagine what it was like in 2009 in Vuliakmeni. Absolutely no press, very few people. I say no press. There were a few bloggers, some independent journalists, but barely more than a dozen. And now we come to today, and it's just the difference is staggering. And I think that difference is due entirely to the alternative media, because the mainstream media has found it incredibly difficult to talk about Bilderberg. It just hasn't had almost the mental, the intellectual ability to address it. And I think what's happened this year is finally the mainstream media has understood what it is. Oh, this sounds exciting. More exciting than me. Hello, anyway. Oh. Is it the Queen himself?
Taking a seat here.
Sorry, mate. That's all right, no problem.
Just chill out a little
Yeah, Ben, you again, you all right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Right, we need to form a line again like we did before.
Cones are over on that side.
Oh, thank you. No, it wasn't you were bad, y'all. Just like y'all right in there. Doing a speech. Yeah, well, yeah.
Make your way down this place, pushing the people back, and they need to step back at least 2 paces. Folks, can you move back, please? Right, head down there. Just go down. Right. Steve, can we get somebody to move back, please? Move back, please.
We are going to knock the whole structure over.
Maybe.
Oh, you're doing the cue from there, yeah?
Join this line and help push them back.
Alex, she can't. Right, can you move? Bring it on yourself, buddy.
All you need to do is just stay out there, right? So that anything's going on, just get out of the way, you know? And I'm trying to do the same, at the same time, just pretend I'm supposed to be here, you know? Until they rumble us. Hello, Stephen. No, I'm Nick, this is Danny. We're filming for the, you know.
Yeah, I want to get as many people out of here as possible.
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, we're doing the official film for the festival,
But in a minute, can you do it from over there? And essentially video people getting a photograph with Alex.
Yeah, fine, thank you. Okay, step back.
No. Filming the official film of the, the event. So that's where I am. Yeah. We keep at the back here, just as far back as you can get.
Get from behind or front. Where's Richard?
He's right there. Richard's right
Acting proper orders, Watson.
What was that?
Somebody, it's elementary.
I reckon it's Simpson, don't you? I think it's Tony Goggins' hat.
Alex, put on the copper's hat.
Sure, my only issue if I sit down, open the tape, wipe it down. Get this tight. Tell you what, I'll go walk the swath. Hey guys, watch it. Leanne, watch everybody goes through. That's what we're No, it's not that. There's no way I can sign everybody else. Yes, sir. How you doing? Okay, fine. Alex is coming out. Hard on you. So you need to let him out by stepping back a bit. Alex, what can you stand there. You just keep doing what it's like to you guys come in. Have you let these guys in? Just go around right there. Let him through right here.
Don't want anyone to
He's a meteorologist.
Like, they think they came out one time that was at bars. Ridiculous. And it's like, you should have no life, you know? Like, you should have no money. Like, if people get mad that we give
Yeah, I'm busy at the moment.
Right, go on.
Strange times we're living in. There seems to be a lot of problems.
I've told my radio producer, get you on it.
Just destroy the furniture while
Get this and tell him to stay on. He says he can't get a hold of him.
You ready? For some reason,
that'll look good.
Yeah. Can I come there too?
Yeah, come around with me.
Okay, he's coming out shortly. It makes the meet very interesting. It's fantastic to meet you. Really
good. I've been wanting to get you back on the radio. I don't know why.
I'm looking forward to it.
This is a man-made climate change bomb, of course, which Alex is fantastic at being exposed. We get coverage there, but the BBC doesn't even listen here.
You're doing a great job, brother. Yeah.
Where are the BBC? Where are they? Who are they? Who are they? Anytime.
Well, you're going to buy it back next week. I'm going to get you.
We see
Been begging for a year to call him. He goes, oh, you know,
the actual facts about what CO2 has done in the past. It's twice exceeded their so-called critical levels.
He's a famous meteorologist.
So it's just bullshit. It's not just inaccurate, it's total fucking lies. Well, you take that.
They know it's live.
Alex, one of the guys that helped to get to the stage and back again. Can we have a photo?
Absolutely, get in there.
All right, I'll get out of the way.
I'm going to call you soon. If you don't hear from me, call me. Cheers.
What is that? Take over.
Sorry.
Of course, they always are. How do they steal money? Do they convince us they're doing us
He's coming out. He said he wants to come out.
This guy, I'm winning the culture when I'm not Peace Island.
I wanted the big crowd. Did anybody ever get the big crowd? I want it from the back. You get that watching from the back?
He's filming constantly from the back.
I'm not bothered with letting him take pictures, I'm bothered with him trying to get me out.
Come on in, brother.
So I take no notice.
Are you live streaming?
No, I'm recording video though.
Great. I'm going to go.
Recording video.
How big is this piece?
It's I guess about 10 minutes long. I called. Restart on you.
Great job. Listen, Richard, I want everybody to stay with me. I promise to talk to these people. I'm going to walk through once, shake hands for like 10 minutes. And we're going to turn, we're going to go out. Yes.
Here's our water.
You don't need that for now.
You need it? Okay.
You just drink it.
Okay. Okay, good.
Then he's going to go out.
Alex, we'll follow with you now. We'll follow with you out.
That's fine.
Should I take some video?
How did David get that?
Should I take some videos as well?
Yeah, I want a live stream.
Live stream. So just the live stream here.
Yeah, let's put it all up and get ready. You been carrying this the whole time in your hand?
No, I just found it. Just found it. It was right there.
I want to get everybody stuff they gave me, but I mean, I can't carry it. How do I carry that? Sure, you on all my loot?
There's a bag.
Has anybody got a bag we can have? I'm gonna get so much stuff. I just don't believe it. Oh, God. This speech okay, you think? Kind of got converted a bunch. I used to go off notes. I was tired. Never let me give it a mouse. Sherlock Holmes.
So you can go Watson?
Where's that reggae album I got given? Or just grabbing on me.
Your spare room must be full.
Hold a hat for you?
Yeah, I want the weather guys on. I want to be able to hand this to my producer and go, he wants to come on no matter what.
No matter what.
What are you doing, mate?
Well, no, I mean, I'm always like, well, that guy wants to come on. Well, no, we can't go. Here it is, Papa Bear on the flesh. Here. No. Sherlock Holmes. The guy gave me a reggae album. I said, you cram that in there? Little girl gave me that.
Feeling naked about your fire out?
No. In fact, they want to take the guns, they want to enslave us. The fact that we got so many guns. All the cities where they don't have guns, but people get robbed.
Put it in there.
We get mugged all and everything. Just because there's guns all over the place. Guns are like a screwdriver or a hairdryer laying around. It's like a dragon's hoard. You have to have hundreds of them. The dragon sits on piles of gold. The Texan sits on piles of gold.
It's a big bag. I'm trying to think if I got it.
You sleep on a pile of them. It's pretty fun shooting a 50 cal, man. Armor piercing out.
You want the technique interview. You want the technique on the table. That's just fucking ultimately winning.
All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out and shake as many hands as I can, and I'm splitting. I'm coming back though. Yeah, I told you I would. They're not going to let me do it here.
He said everybody stick together, we're going.
Mr. Hill?
Stick together.
Are you walking that way or?
We're going to walk right into it.
Okay, because I got all this.
Richard, we'll meet you at the car. Where are you parked?
Close to the end.
Down there?
Shall I hold this?
Dropped off. Very close.
I'll see you there.
Should I hold this?
If you want to flag some stuff, okay.
Should I hold this and you take that to the car?
Put it in the box.
That one
Alex, we've promised them.
He'll survive. He ran into it.
Alex, we promised them you'd be going out our way.
Yeah, I was gonna. Oh, the cops want to?
No, I did. And the crowd, your fans.
Hi, good to meet you.
We'll be back.
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you. Sorry,
So great, but...
I will do something when I'm finished with this.
God bless you, sir.
Vito, come on.
You bet.
Come on, I got him, man. Come on, Vito.
Send it to Watson.
Huh?
Can you give me some?
6 years following you, man.
Watson at prisonplanet.com. Prisonplanet.com.
See you, man. Bye-bye, love you here. Lovely. Okay, yeah, do it. Alex, he didn't make the picture. Come on, quicker, Vito. You're very slow.
Right, hang on, it's like sharp. Is it that picture?
One more. Please. All right.
Just, she's...
Yeah, she's, yeah. So.
Yeah, I've done yours.
A few months ago.
Take notes, yeah?
Yeah, it's set up. Just press that bit there. No problem.
I know you talked to somebody.
Come on.
Well, I'm always burnt out. That's all right.
Yeah.
You bet.
Did I do? Step back a bit. Hang on.
Come on, other people want to be.
Take it like that back.
Did it come out?
Thank you, Alex.
How you doing, sir? All right, let's go out and see the
Alex, can I just get answer from me? I phoned you on Thursday to tell you this was happening because I live here. And I
Sorry.
So that's I'm crazy girl. I'm from London.
Oh, you're not crazy, you're sweet.
Bye. Good work.
Thank you. Folks are awesome.
Alex.
Sure.
Are you going to the pub after?
For a few beers.
I need to have a few waters.
Where do we press? The middle button. Just press that
Look how beautiful the clouds are. I gotta get a photo of that.
Stick together and we'll sort you out when, because this is...
I have for 10 years. You've got me through so many things. So much music. You are an artist.
The next president of the United States, ladies and gentlemen.
Shot over there.
He's amazing.
Alex for president.
Try not to just touch it.
Alex for president, man.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
I'll see you in Austin if I ever go. My brother-in-law lives
Hey, buddy, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Nice, huh? Sure.
He looks like 1776 again.
The rebirth of 1776 right here.
Thank you so much.
Alex, can I have a photo with you, mate? Sure.
Sorry.
Here's my girlfriend.
No, wait. Sorry. Got it.
Cool.
Well done, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely. Cool. Thanks so much.
Want to go? Thanks, mate.
Let me just walk on a little bit now. You bet.
Just get one.
You bet. Let's go right over here, brother. I'm gonna.
Mr. Jones. This is Jennifer Marks Jones.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Sweetheart. Take a picture.
You bet.
Alex, we asked you what you think about the 100th anniversary of the Federal Reserve being established. Are you doing a campaign to expose?
I've talked about it. I need to do so much, but yeah.
Can you do a greenback campaign? You know we're getting our Bradbury campaign up and running in our country. Can you get a campaign going?
Bring back the greenback. Yeah.
Because you guys will be.
Because it's the Federal Reserve note that's going to die, not the dollar. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you guys can do. Your
Look at that photo. I got to get this photo. I'll shake everybody's hand, but I'm getting it.
Oh, so dark in there.
Sorry. Let me just get this photo, guys.
That's a light breaking through the darkness.
Yeah.
What is one picture? Sorry,
Wow, look at that. The light's breaking through over the evil.
press the button. Sorry? You press the button in the middle.
Oh, push the button.
In the middle, yeah.
Oh, he's here.
In the middle of the screen.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
No, just illumination of Mordor.
Well, they say the kids get paralyzed after so-called polio. It's all statistical population. But they're clearly hereditary adding steroids to it. So yeah, you get a polio vaccine.
It's recording.
Okay, well. And they put SC4 cancer virus in it.
Sorry.
It's recorded.
Anna. Okay.
I'm going to get him this time.
See, I'm not against them, but then they're brought in and used as a political
Just try and do the camera once more. Sorry, the red button.
Whereas they can build systems of basically unlimited wealth. It's just all divide and conquer.
What do you think about Mexicans? They've suffered a lot under the New World Order as well. And they're refugees and things like that.
I agree.
So you think it's a divide and conquer tactic?
Yeah, the only problem is that the Ford Foundation has helped push incredible nationalism. They tell Americans don't have nationalism. They tell them come in with nationalism. The only use them is like political power.
When I hear you speak, I love the way you speak, but the only thing I have is about legalism.
Well, they're for it. They're for open borders. How you doing, sir? Nice to meet you.
Get one picture. Mr. Jones.
Sure.
Okay, both of you. Can I just step back a little? Okay. Nice
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for coming to my hometown.
Thank you. God bless you. You bet.
Really want to shake your hand, mate. Love you.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down to that fence one more time, and then I'm going to come back and see everybody.
What are we doing? Charge in the fence!
How about, buddy? Well done to you, man. Thank you.
One last time. Thank you very much.
What's the impact for the Bilderberg Fringe Festival, Mr. Jones? What's the impact?
Alex, how much money did you make off the advert?
To answer your question, you're really drunk, but I'll answer you later. I am spending more money this year than I'm making. I'm spending the small amount of savings I have, and selling personal.
Yeah, but you're worth £500, aren't you?
No, I just told you. I am. You asked how much money I'm making this year, and I'm telling you, I am losing money this year. It's not bad to make money.
Where you rented to do that? Where you rented to do what you did?
Yeah, the Bilderberg's rented me.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
They don't have to. They already.
Love is the solution.
Listen, I knew as soon as I answered your question, you would stop.
It's a serious question, honestly.
And I answered it. Listen, I answered your question. I answered your question.
That's how we run.
We're here. We're ready.
We're ready.
No! Hey, I want that for Twitter. We take a picture?
Guys, don't push. squash.
All right, I'll do the free hug, but I have to come over there and hug it. Who's going to take the picture of us hugging?
I'll take the picture of hugging.
All right, here we go.
Alex, can I just tell you that we've all been over and passed back through? None of us were arrested.
There you go, Alex.
You're going to go, how stupid do I look?
There you go.
I didn't get the face. Let's do a couple more. That's not bad, but I want to get a better one.
I think you should hug Steve because you know better than you know.
Okay.
I think he's the
Alex is over here and he's refusing to go over. Should I go over with him?
Yes, you did a good job.
Alex, go over. Everyone else will.
All right, good. Oh, look at that look.
Whoa, don't push.
Guys, don't push it.
We're getting squashed.
An extremist.
Yeah.
Should I go over there?
The leader.
Take us with a female guy. Only the queen is allowed to eat baby goose.
It's all right.
Only the queen can eat swan.
Look at me then. David.
Sorry.
That's it, sorted.
I'm getting pushed. Sorry.
Look how pretty that is over there. Man, talk about a photo.
Alex, get over the fence, honey.
So did you enjoy your speech?
We will follow you.
I
We
kind of
are
had a headache
legion.
today. It wasn't that good. Some guy was heckling me the whole time.
We're not sheeple.
But he's going to lose friends somewhere, isn't he?
We're not sheeple. We're not sheeple.
Thank you. You're nice. You guys are the cheap one, too.
You happy?
Yeah, that's about the best Bilderberg I've seen.
Live up to half the ship.
Absolutely. Look at this lady here. And you can hurry me a hug. Anyway, my wife will get that. Not on camera. No. Here, I want one. I'm sorry. What's your name?
Alex, have you ever heard of the phrase principles before personalities, my lover?
This is good stuff. No, you guys did a great job. Alex, turned out good. Thank you.
Guys, it works if you work it. So work it, you're worth it. Brothers and sisters, show this system. We will stop.
I ran over here to get away. Everybody move back. I can't move.
I think you can walk around.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
It's all right, thank you.
Oh, there's a great photo.
The people, united, will never be
Put it out on Twitter.
The people,
Put it out on Twitter.
will never be defeated.
The people, united.
Looks like a propaganda photo. Get over there with them. I'll do your MI5 propaganda for you. I gotta get it with the Bilderberg building in the background. Hey guys, let me get over there. Let's go this way.
Alex, do me a favour.
Yeah, I will. Okay, turn around. Put the hat back on her. Yeah, that's the head liaison guy. All right, thanks. Come on, guys. Let's go this way.
Wants to go.
All right, let's pull back. This is dangerous.
Cheers, Alex. Thank you.
Them cards are for a reason.
Keep moving, guys.
Yeah. So you're not going to jump over the fence no matter what?
Inside job. Listen, Alex. Don't follow leaders, watch the party.
Remember we talked the other day.
1776, Jesus is the answer, and you're already getting it. Don't do armed revolution, don't do it. Turn to Jesus.
No, I didn't mean armed revolution.
No, your grandma's right.
These people are like that because I don't know, I'm just trying to see everybody.
Quickly, just get that.
The Puritans set up Parliament. The people who set up Parliament were the people who believe that the Bible and the Bible is
Okay.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, Jose.
Alex! Yeah.
Celebration.
Alex! You want it, Alex?
Mardu. M-A-R-D-A. Mardu. M-A-R-D-U-K. Thank you so much. We love you. Alex, I watch your show almost every single day. It's really bizarre for me to be next to you.
Well, thank you, brother. Good to meet you.
Alex, can you please to Lawrence? Can you do to Lawrence, please, with the L-A-U-R-E-N-C?
Gotcha. I'm still trying to get fit to you.
Look at my phone.
Oh,
Right.
thank you, man.
We're trying to get fit to you. I'm still trying.
Right, look to Lawrence, please.
Okay, do you have a pen?
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
Some people say you're paid by the government to do this.
Do what?
Is that true? No.
Just get past your place.
Paid by the government.
Well, it's not true, but it's just a distraction. The last thing they do is pay me to do this.
Lawrence, L-A-U.
Can we keep moving, please?
Just write your name.
R-E-N-C-E.
L-A-U.
R-E-N-C-E. Thank you.
Just write your name. Just write your name. Just write your name.
Working the charm, man.
Put Mooney.
I love it.
All right. Thank you so much, man.
Alex, man, can I do my impression of you? Do you mind? Do you mind if you can tell me what
Can I have my pen back? I lent the pen. Thank you.
Sure.
Cheers.
One more. I haven't got a bloody bit of
Thank you.
No.
It's a pretty pitiful signature.
I know, it's all over my throat now.
Alex, no, I saw Mr. Jones on this way. Great job, sir.
What's the accent name?
You what?
No more speaking. I think I can on there.
Nice one. Alex, hard work, mate.
Outside the toilet block at the moment, so yeah, you'll be alright.
That's great. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Right, I've got to go home now, but I want to say to you,
Yes, sir.
you're going to hear from me again. You're going to see me again soon.
Well, good. God bless you.
Definitely will.
Cheers to you, sir.
And you'll be impressed.
Well, do something good, right?
Oh, no, yeah, you know.
No, I mean, that's good. I'm here from you.
Yeah, you've got 3 leaflets of mine.
Do what?
You've got 3 of my leaflets. Mine versus mine. Mine versus mine magazine.
Great job, brother.
Have a good day. Have a good trip.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Have a good day. It's been awesome, man. It's been good. Alex, can you say I will?
Check out Infowars.com.
So can I shake you by the hand?
Do I sign it? What do we do?
Just one more
They got a pen?
please, for this guy.
Please, would you sign this? I listen to all your songs.
You're awesome.
Oh, thank you. I'm blessed in the light. I'm wearing light and not these.
Good work, man.
You are a great man.
Good stuff.
Hold that one second. You're awesome, brother.
Thank you. That's cool for me. Thank you, Alex. God bless you.
You're a hub of the world, sir.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same word. A hub.
For your energy.
He's a hub for people. A hub. Get things out there.
That's my friend.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. That's a good pen, though. You're smart.
Yeah.
No, it's not mine.
I want some of these at home. These are awesome.
Alex, this is good.
Do you mind if we please? You want to press it?
Thank you so much.
Anywhere on there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good work, Alex. Well done, man. Well done.
You do. God bless you. Love you.
Thank you. God bless you. It's great. Me and 10 million people away.
I've got tunes everywhere.
So, what do you do with the honour? Shake me by the hand.
Do what?
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you. God bless you. Sure. It's the dog's bollocks. God bless you, sir. Thank you.
More power to you.
Who's been? Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant.
Sorry.
That's all right.
God bless you, sir.
Alex, we're keeping you in UK. You're not leaving UK.
Can you shake your right hand?
Sure, jump in.
We're done, mate.
Sorry.
It's your program every day.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Great speech.
Thank you.
We're going to go directly to your case, mate.
All right.
Are you going off site or are you going to go
Great job. Great job.
Alex, what do you think of the rumour that Prince Philip is actually here as well?
Is he?
Well, the Queen was reported to saying that Prince Philip isn't actually ill.
Oh, that's right. Who knows? They all lie constantly. Yeah, but I'm probably going to come back. I'm here tomorrow when they leave. I want to get that on tape. And tonight's the night they really start leaving. We need to get footage of that. Look for him to drive out tonight.
Okay.
Fantastic.
We're going to try and arrest him, Alex.
Is Richard got the car?
Sorry.
Yeah, he's over there. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks to the police. You guys did a good job.
Can you come back?
You guys can go get some sleep.
Come back.
One picture.
I
wouldn't know what to do with it.
I would.
And one of you.
I'm actually traveled all the way from Sweden just to get a picture with you because I saw you outside the gate was it Wednesday or something like that? And you stand with Alex Jones, I think, and so me and my girlfriend at home in Sweden, we were like, I have to meet this guy, and you was you're the main purpose actually. Bilderberg meeting and you, and that's what I'm really inspired by you. You know, the small thing you did in the videos. You know, you were everywhere around. You know, and it's like I have to meet this guy because you are a cool man.
Well, you want to sit and chat or something? I mean. Yeah. You come back in here.
On this one. Oh.
Hey, baby! Hey! Roasted, baby!
Sorry. No, just that car that will come down in a minute. The one that's going up now.
Well, that one has to drive his own car. He wasn't even worth booing.
Okay, he's got no business being there. We can't be there. We should be there.
Spent carcasses.
Blood all the dried out husks in the back of that one. Blood sucking beans. Yeah, well put for the jump out the uniform and burning it sort of really got them into that side of it. I'd only been working on the traitors and the terrorists bit.
I can only talk for like 7 months of time before my blood boils. I don't think it's really going to boil.
I've mastered. Show your faces!
Head left for Transylvania! South for hell!
Not the private security firm. I know, we were just saying that because yesterday when they stopped letting people in,
the police told Bill Maloney that the police themselves will wait for permission by G4S to let more people in. So.
Oh, because even if police think, oh well, you think they have more powers, when they're arguing with their...
Yeah.
Taking in everybody.
Up to the crowd so they could hear us. A lot of people like that we know that won't listen.
Did you mean the after party? Because there was an after party last night.
I've climbed over your men.
What? Today? Right, okay. We'll find out.
Sociopathic war criminals, if they gain the whole world and suffer their loss of their soul. That's what we want to know.
He didn't have blacked out windows though.
What does sociopathic war criminals, they gain the whole world, suffer the loss of their soul. I don't know, I haven't no idea. Was it? Right, they might have whisked in there real fast for deniability.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah. Show your faces!
They must have done, they're nuts. They got this woman, they think, oh, I don't know that. It's not that good. Don't tell anyone. Well, yeah, but that's supposed to be the perspective of a rational mind. They haven't got to make like that. Worshippers! Go back to your house. We love you!
That must be an important one. It's a little one.
Worshipping war criminals! And another Moloch worshipping war criminal!
They're all piling in to collect their
Yeah, these cars are coming.
all the nice friendly waves and sand off.
That's right. These ones are coming in to collect them.
When did the police get like the SWAT team hats over here though? They look like American.
Well, we better tell Phoenix what's happening there.
No, he told us that.
Oh, he told you. Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, I haven't had time to talk to him about anything except what's happening.
Criminals!
Yeah, the rumour, or whatever you want to call it.
Ben Fellows wants to see Ken Clark in the court.
And that's how that's how Bilderberg has got the. I've done so much media, not just me, but I even put a young lad.
We all do a little bit of searching on the internet.
Young boy called Daniel.
So-called bombers came from Luton. Also wonder why there wasn't one picture of the so-called London bombers shown on the underground, which is covered with CCTV cameras. There was not one picture. All there was one picture of some guy coming out of chemist on...
coming out, and suddenly there's something different happens. And
it was when they, funny how they found that passport, isn't it? Jumped out of the pocket, out of the window, or the porthole.
What right have you discovered? I'll tell you. Yeah, sorry, but yeah, what right have these guys? You wonder if you feel
On his board! On his board!
My one, which might happen at some point, I now know what I should be doing, because you don't want to go back in time.
Yeah, another one. Cathy O'Brien plus Granada Forum. Mullet worshipping war criminals. Mullet worshipping war criminals.
Shame on you.
Sociopaths are us.
So I kind of regret that, because that was the BBC, and I didn't mean to turn it down, but that's effectively what happened.
Mullet worshipping war criminals. We're just getting the dregs of the mullet worshipping war criminals now.
Yeah, nice speaking to you, mate. Okay, yeah, maybe it's here again.
Do a little research and you find out the whole story is impossible. You find out that they were planned and they planned to attack Afghanistan long before 9/11.
You're right.
We'll give you a carpet of gold, or we'll bury you under a carpet of fog.
If you tried to climb over that barrier, that lot would have you. But,
what did they put Bilderberg on? They gained the whole world and suffered the loss of their souls.
He had the remember, you know about this. When I was in the garden, he was accused for about 100 years. Satan came into the garden because he was envious. I don't do it yet.
No gloves, no masters.
I went in that room now and I said, do you have any
I like your mask.
My mask is the best.
Only when you take your hat off. Take your hat off. Take off all
Take
your
it out!
Oh, very good.
Oh, please take your hat off. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you.
That's his religion.
No, go on, just the face.
You can have that bit.
No,
nice
no, seriously.
Is there no hoodies either?
You don't need that.
Sonny Green is in the house. Sonny Green! We have the man.
Give us a song, son.
Quite a good way out.
Sorry?
The other side.
The other side? Yeah, why not? And I'll get this one as well. Let's start at the top and come down into there.
Email about this and other things. Respond for that 2 weeks. Email and say, well, I understand your position. You're with the camp movement, the freedom movement. We're more affiliated with the British Constitution Group. Very good friends of the UK column.
I like colourful things. Okay, perhaps taking full-length scissors lesson is a good idea.
I go to the meeting of studies. Hello.
Hello, nice to see you. You're Mr. Skelton, aren't you?
Yes, sort of,
you're
mainly. Most of the
responsible for starting this, I believe.
No, I'm partially responsible. I never did do the festival. I refused.
Oh, right.
I refused point blank. I said they shouldn't have it. So I was wrong.
You've been writing about Bilderberg for several years now, haven't you? I mean, haven't you been the one person really who's brought this out into public?
One of some.
Sorry?
One of some. There have been some people that have written about it.
I think you've been very modest, aren't you?
No, there've been some people that have done. Even every so often in the mainstream media, half a paragraph gets written that's sort of all right.
But I think bringing it into mainstream consciousness, you've been blogging for The Guardian since, what, 2009?
Yeah.
You're a rock star.
Yeah, so before
this is literally right. This is my 2 days of minus liberty. And you go,
Yeah.
hang on, I think I saw you on the Kaiser report, which is a kind of odd.
Can you sign this?
Yeah. I signed a stamp.
You have done. You've done a few autographs.
Yeah, that's it now. That's it for a year.
What? How would you sum it up? How do you feel it's gone? What
Very
do you think?
well. Very well indeed. And how do you think it's gone?
Well, personally, I think it's the most spectacular. It's the most important. I think it's history in the making. I think this is for me personally, it's been the biggest news story that I have ever been involved in. And that includes all the road protests of the 90s and all the demonstrations, I think this is, bigger than Occupy. I think this is history in the making. That's my opinion, but I wanted to get your opinion.
Well, it wasn't, it certainly was a more free event than Occupy, I think.
Yeah.
It was Occupy had restrictions and all sorts of funny things with it.
There weren't so
I mean,
many
for something to set itself up all over the world randomly in every town and city, okay, it takes a lot of planning and organising that people around here haven't got resources and allocations for them to have people working 24 hours round the clock to get stuff like that to happen. And like itself, if any revolution was to trigger off all over the globe from the grassroots, it'd bring down everything straight the way. But I mean, most of the Occupy movement was funded by George Soros through the Adbusters, which Adbusters is the thing which sets up protesters and it sets up protesters, and it's usually like
Oh, okay. I thought the lady at the door spoke to the control.
Going through, apparently.
You did, but I'm double checking it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going way out.
Okay. Well, shall I leave these guys here and I'll start filming? And whatever they decide right now, I'll start doing some shots.
Excuse me? It's purely the mob.
Yeah.
All right, so you're not television or something like that? Okay, thank you.
It's happening in every country in the world, just getting people to yeah. A million times a day, it's just starving, but you can't see why. So every time you go on
Would you care to make a quick comment on Bilderberg and why you're here?
Hello, Minion, yes.
Sorry?
Hello, Minion.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Minion.
Well, don't worry, it's not going to be very good anyway. I don't think you're going to want to come. No, are you a politician or?
No.
Okay, yeah, sorry. It's no invite for you, unfortunately.
Oh.
It's quite selective.
Okay.
Yeah. We only want the cream of the crop there, not even Ed Miliband's invited, so.
Okay.
Yeah, but it won't be very good. It's mostly a man rave, Ken Clark, the Google Boys, Goldman Sachs, a lot. Yeah, so it won't be very good. Sausage fest.
They are leaving now, the Bilderberg
They might
Group.
be, they might not be.
Okay, thank you. Are you talking, is that all right? You talking to the camera?
Yeah.
You're making a TV show for BBC Three?
Called The Revolution Will Be Televised.
Right, and what's it about?
It's can I just speak? I'll tell you off the camera and you can...
Okay, well, I just wanted to know why he called me a minion and refused to give me a leaflet. I was being polite, I was filming
No,
him.
I can give you a leaflet.
Sure,
That's
okay,
fine.
thank you, but I'm just making the point that we're here being peaceful, having a little protest.
Yeah.
He's come along, he's been
No.
rude to me, he's been rude to other
No,
people, he's acting like he's some kind of superstar. I don't like that, and I don't think a lot of my friends here like that either.
No, but if I kind of explain to you what the show's about, I think you kind of be in favour of...
okay, do you want to talk to the camera, or is this private?
Well, okay, I prefer it if I could speak to you about the camera in my face, to be honest.
Okay, I'll switch it off, but I've told you what I think.
Yeah, that would be like disclosing corruption and then being corrupt yourself.
I did that at a festival where I ran a tiny little thing, a collective festival, and we had an art competition which I won, which was very, it looked so such a stitch-up job. I think... Oh, sorry. Are you sticking? Excellent.
I hate to interrupt. I'd just like to tell you, Charlie, that BBC Three, you're going to be one of the performers in a show called The Revolution Will Be Televised. I'm signing you up for it at the moment. Just so you know, after you've done this gig, you'll be on a show for BBC Three.
Oh, right. Are these guys here?
Well, I'm signing you up now over here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that guy there talking to Danny. Daniel is the voice of youth.
Which are those two guys there?
Yeah,
okay.
that guy writing the stuff is getting the signatures. So I've signed you up for the show. It's being filmed here now. Sorry about that, chaps, but we all got... Who are you?
My name's Steve, we're filmmakers.
Okay, fine, excellent, thank you. Well, this man's the superstar of this whole show, thank you.
No, what it is we're just... what we're doing, we're just making a show for... Alright. Basically, yeah, it was
going on the air on the BBC.
Our presenters are speaking to a few people, so if he speaks to you, then maybe we'll...
Let him do it.
It's the 9th of the 6th. So if
Why would I forget that?
speaks to you, then maybe we'll do a deal. Just have to be careful there. Cheers, man. That's perfect. Who's the guy that you was with?
I never had an excessive drink problem.
Baphomet, go home. You're not wanted here.
I had a drink problem.
This is a freedom of speech FEMA camp and not a recording studio.
Ready? Yeah. Oh, serious.
Sorry, who?
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry, it's a bit. Excuse me. It's a BBC show. BBC Three is a show that they're making called The Revolution Will Be Televised. I'm doing the official video for the Bilderberg Fringe Festival. Whoever has asked you to tell them to leave does not
members of the crowd.
Does not have the authority.
Some members of the crowd.
Doesn't have the authority.
Trying to wind people up.
No.
So they're saying you're not in tune with what's been going on this weekend. Right. So
the crowd, no, they do not have the authority. If you like, come back to the press tent. No, you do. The members of the crowd do not. If you come back to the press tent, we'll sort this out.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll sort this out.
You've only got 20 minutes and then everyone...
It is an authorised performance by the BBC. It's authorised.
It doesn't matter whether it's by the BBC
No,
or
I'm
not.
sorry, but whoever told you he has to leave does not have the authority.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Phoenix, stick with me. They do not have the authority to kick the BBC off the site. No. Oi! Oi! Oi!
We don't want your Illuminati symbolism around here. Thank you. Bye. Please leave at your earliest.
been here protesting.
Protect him, protect him. Phoenix. Protect him. Him. No.
Please take your Illuminati symbolism with you. We don't want to work
stick with me.
like you do. If we say brand names, they can't use the footage.
I'm sorry about that.
Everybody say after me. I say me.
Where's your man?
I think you'd be better off leaving.
No, these people do not have the authority to kick him out. He's welcome in the press tent. He will have sanctuary in the press tent.
Yeah, I think so.
Hang on a second. I'm worried that there's going to be disruption. It's going to your behaviour is your presence, not your behaviour, is causing a disturbance. So let's go over there and talk about it. At the moment,
Sure.
I don't want it to continue to discuss.
In the press tent.
So go to the press tent, please.
Sure.
You're safe with me. I've got a load of friends here. Don't worry.
Okay.
The BBC
Yeah, you call me. I'm in charge here. These fucking bastards. They're not running this show. I am.
All those trained under common purpose, please leave the Freedom of Speech FEMA camp. They're leaving, everyone.
How dare you! How dare you!
But we don't trust you.
Who do you think you are, telling us what to do? That's what we're here for freedom of speech, for freedom of choice. You have no right to treat anybody like this.
Go film your rubbish comedy elsewhere. We only do classy comedy around here. What we're doing right now is cutting edge. More people will probably watch what we're doing than what you're doing. I just wanted to let you know.
Protesters this way, please. All the protesters this way. You'll be sacrificed at the door if you could just follow me, thanks.
No, go into the press tent.
yourself already.
Sacrificed
yourself
I'll
already.
take a picture of you for
Not your
Henry.
watch.
Okay.
You'll be safe in the press tent.
Please take your MI5 symbolism elsewhere.
Sorry, mate, I'm doing my best.
Security zone number 1, which is in the Grove Hotel.
Why don't you shut up? How dare you?
This way, protesters scum this way. You'll be sacrificed at the top.
Thank you, dude. Go get a refresher course from Common Purpose. I think you've forgotten your training. You will be one of the next future leaders. Keep working.
Yep, here we go.
Pedophile corporation. Pedophile corporation.
Bye.
Was this the one they say in your outfit? Just look at the statue of
No, I'm independent.
Remember, home is where the heart is.
We're following a goat.
You don't have a heart.
This is what they want.
Bye.
They're demonising a demon doesn't bring positivity. Yeah, all of this is working for them. Following the goat.
Well done, Team Awesome.
I need to get that on video.
I've got it on video.
Yeah. Demonising a demon doesn't work, yeah? All these people just followed the goat head with negativity. He came in here with the goat head with positivity. That's the only way we can overcome the things that are part of our reality. If we bring negativity to a negative symbol, yeah, it's just going to work for it.
Okay, well I need to protect them. Stay with me, stay with me.
Yeah.
If they try and attack me, get ready for a fight. I mean it.
We're a quality crowd, mate.
They don't scare me. It doesn't matter if there's 100, 200 of them.
Yeah, I'm not
you
scared
guys
of
don't
death
scare
anymore.
me.
Yeah, that's right, mate. There's no such thing as fear.
I'm not scared of the police. I'm not scared of you guys. Where were you when we were fighting the riot police? Where were you, you middle-class twats? Where were you when I was up against the wall being attacked by the riot police? What kind of people are you to chase innocent people off the site? What right did you have to do that?
Why not tell them what you think?
Sorry?
Why not just tell them what you
Oh,
think?
I don't want to do that. They probably attack me. I'm not scared of you people. You're fascists. You're as bad as the Bilderberg Group.
Rubbish.
Shut up. Danny.
Saying that you're acting on behalf of Bilderberg, because it sounds like you're acting in some sort of.
Do you not
official
understand? I'm
capacity.
trying to explain that I and lots of other volunteers here are trying to fill the gap between Bilderberg and the press and public. That normally a press liaison person or stroke team would do, and it's do you know what it's a fault of the organisation itself that so far they've not managed to do that. It's a step forward that the organisation has hired a corporate communications company. I think we can all agree on that. It's better that they have that than not. It's better that they put an email address, contact email address on their website than not. All these things are steps in the right direction.
And who is that main spokesman from the German communications company?
I can't remember his name, but it's on. It's if you look up that, I think the media contact email address goes to someone at that company.
Is it true that you used to be involved in the production of pornographic films?
That's not much of a scoop. I published a book on it.
So,
anyway, yes.
Is that true then? What's the name of the book?
Oh, is this a plug? Do I get a free plug for my book?
Yeah.
Okay. I think
What's
you can get
the
it.
name of the book, Charlie?
The book is called Once More with Feeling. I think you can get it at Amazon.
Who was it published by?
Who's it published by? I was going to say Random House. No, I can't remember.
Where do you stand on child pornography?
Not a fan. Good question.
Could I just, getting back to the funding, which I believe Patrick brought up, you say that there's been no funding put into it, but yet there were flyers done, there's been a boat, which I believe Alex Jones was part funded in, there's obviously the
Funding
tent.
is the wrong way. He went on the barge and then stuck a bit of money in the pot for the payment of it. That's not, I wouldn't call it funding.
No, okay, well thank you for clarifying, but what about the tent and the flyers and
Those
so
people
forth?
sticking their hands in their pockets.
Right, so was that personal money on your account?
I spent money on it, so for a lot of people here.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to clarify...
I mean, assuming you've spent money, you come here,
Sure,
you know, you've
sure,
spent, I mean,
absolutely.
look at this doesn't come cheap, this is a nice bit of kit.
Sure. So, just to clarify,
yeah,
you
seem to be desperate to clarify this
I am,
point.
because you still haven't really addressed that point that you're saying you're acting on behalf of
It does seem,
but you're supposed to be here protesting.
It does seem interested that you seem more interested in that one phrase than in the conference.
It's
yeah, because I want to know what your motives are.
Answer on that. You just spun it around, and veered off and repeated
Okay,
the
look,
same
I'm
thing.
sorry.
You're
Now
not
you've
really
been quite aggressive, and
answering
but thank you.
questions,
Like I've
Charlie.
answered as best I can. You can, anyone watching can be the judge of that, obviously. But
now that I've made it clear
thank you very
that
much.
you're not answering the question, you're going to scoot off.
Oh, fair. This is not scooting. I've been talking to you for 15 minutes or whatever.
You haven't
Anyway,
listened to a
so-
word you've said.
Okay, I'm sorry. If that's your perception, I'm sorry. I really am.
What do you think's going on in
It's
there?
on camera, people can make their own mind.
Who knows? Good question.
It's disappointing, Charlie.
What? Oh, well, yeah, we're all disappointed.
Okay, well, thanks very much, gentlemen. Charlie lent me his camera to use. They've been very kind to me. I've given them some support for this. I agree that there are disagreements and opinions, different opinions and so on, but at the end of the
Why are you
day,
hiding your face?
this is who I am. I've been on
You're
world...
filming us, we're not hiding our face.
No, but Marcos said...
Who's Marcos?
Zapatistas. He said that if you don't wear a mask, nobody notices you. So I'm just saying to you, in spite of disagreements,
You have your own mind.
Sorry, what is the philosophy? If I don't wear a mask, no one will notice me.
Look, okay, it's a joke. I'm being a bit satirical.
What is your involvement with the tent? You say you've been working with Charlie.
I've given a little bit of
You're
help.
very upset the BBC was being thrown out, I noticed.
I was upset on the grounds of freedom and the rights of the individual.
You're wearing an Evening Standard cap. Are you from the Evening Standard?
No, that's a...
What's the BBC?
Our TV licence pays their wages, so we can...
Yeah, okay, but these are issues that are different and separate from the issues of fighting against Bilderberg. Anyone that comes here to fight Bilderberg, as far as I'm concerned, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Like a Mexican standoff.
So why are you covering your face if we're all friends?
I've been doing this all weekend.
What's your name?
I'm Nick Martian.
Standard.
That's for me to get on the site. That's a cover. That's a cover. You know,
Why are you
it's all very well. Yeah, okay. So you're now accusing me now. Every little detail. My cap is wrong. My mask is wrong.
Why are you hiding?
I've been fighting this.
Provocateur.
I've been fighting this government and the Bilderberg Group for the last 30 years. I've been on all the road protests for 30 years. I've been in physical fights. I'm a legal observer.
BBC then,
Sorry?
Why are you defending the BBC?
I'm not defending them. I'm just saying they have as much right as anybody else to move freely in a free country. I'm British. I don't know where you bastards are from. I'm British. I had hundreds of people shouting, accusing me earlier just because I was filming it. Shouting accusations at me, and I told them, you attack me, I'll fight back, I'll defend myself.
This is old school, this ain't the 60s.
Fuck off. Fuck off, fuck off.
You're too easy. Everyone calm down, right? Okay, he's obviously getting agitated.
We can't put our films on the BBC.
As you can see, this gentleman is obviously getting very frustrated.
You're just a bunch of cunts as far as I'm concerned. You're not with us. Who the fuck are you with?
To be honest with you, if you act like this, then definitely I'm not.
Fuck off!
Oh,
You're aggressive, you're rude, you're ignorant!
You're the one that's ignorant.
All right, well, I'll back away before... Come on,
You got other
Hunter. Okay, you keep...
This works in North Korea and the States.
Yeah, never mind. Okay, listen, just a little word. These bastards are chasing us around now. You might know them. Oh, fuck off. I'm not your enemy.
What's your take on that? The goat head being chased out by an angry mob.
Didn't see it.
Yeah, it was seriously negative. Yeah? Right. Because, like,
I didn't see
it. You didn't see it?
No, I don't.
There was a guy with a goat's head. Yeah. And he was coming in and sort of taking the piss out of Satanism and talking about babies getting bummed and all sorts of really, really disgusting stuff. Yeah. And then there's sort of people started shouting at him with microphones. And I think there was a couple of agents promoting it as well because the people, they didn't seem genuine, They had their agenda. And I think that if we want to get things like Satanism out of society and out of this reality that we're occupying, then we can't chase it out with hate because we're all one love. We're all one living organism.
Look, I didn't see it, so I don't know, but it sounds bad.
Yeah. Charlie, it's all on this tape.
Oh, good.
You got it all here. Yeah, all the ruts, all the arguments, everything. It finishes up to that.
Someone's very enthusiastic there. Is that you? Yeah. Good. Well, what happened today, sir? I'm talking to him at the moment. That's right. That's just a comedy thing. You can interrupt. I'm only joking. So, what have you done today that's made you so happy?
Me and my missus are celebrating. Like 2 years ago, we had a little baby, and we're having a little day off.
That's definitely a reason to be happy. Is that your little kid that's been running around?
Yeah.
Her birthday.
It's her birthday, yeah. You should
That's
be
not allowed.
No? When was the last time you ran around on your birthday, sir?
No, it's my birthday today.
And then we build up a repertoire with you and we have a little bit of fun and then the comedians are going to come on and they're going to do their material and everyone's going to listen to them and there's going to be quite a lot of political comedy tonight. Are we up for that?
Yeah.
Oh, of course we are. Of course we are, because it's difficult for comedians to find the right audience to say stuff to, that you truly like something that you believe in your heart. You go on Facebook, for example. You go on Facebook, you put a post about Monsanto and all the evils that Monsanto are like doing around the world, controlling seeds and being generally kind of evil and nasty, and you get 2 likes. And one of them's from Don Biswas and the other one's from Mel Crosby. And then you put a picture of a cat jumping over another cat. There's 75 million likes, 400,000 shares, and 6 grand forward to you from Monsanto for not making any more jokes about Monsanto. So. And I watched, I don't have a television in my house, I don't have a television, because it kind of like, I feel it kind of like brings in an element of shit into your life on a daily basis that you can probably do best without. We're continuously being surveyed, don't we? Like all the most watched time in the history of mankind. Everywhere I look, there's a camera on me. There's more cameras on me tonight. Look, there's a flash in the corner there. Clearly working for the CIA. Are we ready for the next act, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Free-minded spirits. I'm going to bring on Mr. Jim Grant, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Grant.
Thank you, friends. It's a pleasure and an honour to be here. It's probably the audience that I've played to the most, where I've had the most people in the audience that I greatly admire the work of. There's a few people, lots of you here, and it's nice to hopefully make a few friends here tonight. Thank you for all that you did with the protests over the weekend. Did the police give anyone a hard time or anything like that? Good as gold. Most police are good as gold, but we're all worried about the increasing power of the police state. Permits to protest outside Westminster, putting the missiles on rooftops against the Tenants Commission. It does worry us all that we're creeping towards a police state. In fact, only the other day I was driving along, I get stopped by the police for absolutely no reason at all. The policeman gets out of his car and he shouts at me, "Papers!" I shouted, "Scissors." I win and drive away. We're all outside the paradigm here. It's nice to talk among friends. We all know the 3 main parties are different heads of the same hydra.
Labour, Lib Dem, the Tories, they all support preemptive wars, they all support the bank bailout, they all support austerity measures, they all support increasing tuition fees. I don't know why all three parties don't come together and form one big political party, and they can call themselves the Condom Party, because they allow for inflation, halt production, destroy the next generation, create barriers between people, cause friction, rely on the industry for lubricant, protects pricks and gives you a false sense of security. Well, actually, you're screwed. And I got into the car and I was going back down to I live on the south coast, and I could actually feel the adrenaline sitting in my system. And I remember that golden rule, never drive angry. So I thought, right, before I start this journey, purely in the interest of road safety, I'm going to smoke some weed. So that little tiny one, that pull away. Now most police, as we know, they're good people. It's the power structure that gives them the orders that aren't. But this was one of the smug ones, and of course he taps on the window. I have to wind down the window to speak to him, don't I? And this puff bellows out, he catches with it. He's like, "What's that I can smell there, sunshine?" I said, "It's cannabis." He said, "Oh yeah, tell me something I don't know." Right, officer, did you know this is true, that if you take the lettuce off of your badge of the Metropolitan Police Force and rearrange them, you can spell I'm fellatio, erect porno cop? He didn't seem as impressed as I thought he would be. And with that, he fucked off. I went with him. And I was taken before the court. The judge says to Mr. Grant, "You've been charged with the possession of enough cannabis for 8 or 9 marijuana cigarettes." I said, "Remind me not to come to any of your parties, Your Honour." About 2 or 3 spliffs at the most. And we all know the reason it's illegal is to keep prices up for the Bilderberg cartels, but the line they give the mainstream people is because it's part of the war on drugs, which came in the early 80s, and the mainstream line is marijuana makes people stupid, paranoid and lazy. So our government's official line is that it's been a 30-year war with stupid, paranoid, lazy people, and it still hasn't won yet. Rethink the strategy, guys. And I would advocate, if you're a drug dealer that's only selling marijuana, then technically you're not a drug dealer, you're more of a florist. I got thrown off stage at a club I won't mention for doing this. This isn't rehearsed. This isn't actually, well, it is a joke in my opinion, but it's not actually funny. This is the official theory of 9/11, and I'm just going to break it down for you right now. Okay, the official version. I got thrown off the stage before I finished this at a comedy club, so I think it's probably the only gig in my life that I'll ever have the opportunity to say this in my life. So. Stand-up comedy and sex are very similar. You have to have both parties enjoying it to be a success. So here we go. The official version of 9/11 goes something like this. Directed by a beardy guy from a cave in Afghanistan, 19 hard-drinking, coke-snorting, devout Muslims. I'm loving you already. Enjoy lap dances before their mission to meet Allah. Using nothing more than craft knives, they overpower cabin crew, passengers and pilots on 4 planes, and hangover or not, they managed to give the world's most sophisticated air defence system the slip, unfazed by leaving their How to Fly a Passenger Jet book in the car at the airport. They master the controls in time and score direct hits on 2 towers, somehow causing 3 to collapse completely. Our masterminds even managed to overpower the odd law of physics or 2, and the world watches in awe as steel frame buildings fall symmetrically through their own mass at free fall speed for the first time in history. Oh. Despite all their dastardly cunning, they stupidly give their identity away by using fireproof and explosion-proof passports, which survive the fireball undamaged and fall to the ground, only to be discovered by the incredible crime-fighting sleuths at the FBI. Meanwhile, down in Washington, Hani Hanjo, having previously flunked 2-man Cessna flying school, gets carried away with all the success of the day and suddenly finds incredible abilities behind the controls of a Boeing. Instead of flying straight into the large area of the Pentagon, he decides to show off a little. Executing an incredible 270-degree downward spiral, he levels off to hit the low facade of the world's most heavily defended building, all without a single shot being fired or ruining the nicely mowed lawn. And all at a speed just too fast for modern equipment to capture on camera, despite 85 pieces of footage being held against for national security reasons. Later, in the skies above Pennsylvania, so desperate to talk to loved ones before their imminent deaths, some passengers use sheer willpower to connect to mobile calls that otherwise would not be possible until several years later. And following a heroic attempt by some to take control of Flight 93, it crashes into Shanksville Field, leaving no trace of engines, fuelage or occupants, except of course for the standard issue Muslim terrorist's bandana. Further south in Florida, President Bush, the brave commander-in-chief, reads "My pet goat" to a class of primary school children, shrugging off the obvious possibility that his life could be in imminent danger. In New York, World Trade Center leaseholder Larry Silverstein, I believe Luke knows him only too well, shrugs in his own disbelief in his luck. Oh, sorry, I've missed that bit. I was bound to muck it up sooner or later. Like I said, this isn't usual stuff, as you can imagine. Larry Silverstein blesses his own foresight in ensuring the buildings against terrorist attacks only 6 weeks previously, while back in Washington, Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, Paul Wolfowitz shake their heads in disbelief at their own luck in getting the new Pearl Harbor catalysing event that so desired that to pursue their agenda of world domination. And finally, not to be disturbed too much by the reports of their own deaths, at least 7 of the 19 suicide hackers turn up alive and kicking in mainstream media reports. This all happens after Cheney and Bush create a plan in 1992, released in official government documents, depicting these exact events are required to get through the Patriot Act-style legislation they soon brought in. The Transport Secretary then tells the 9/11 Commission the Vice President gave the order to NORAD to stand down and not to fire on any planes. And this testimony is cut from the official report, which 6 out of 10 of the authors more or less say is bullshit. And this is agreed by 1,500 pro-architects. And if anyone got a problem with this, you're a weirdo.
On your phones now, you can get Facebook on your phone, which is brilliant. And not a lot of people know this, but Facebook was initially funded by the CIA. 500 million quid they gave as a start-up, as it's a good way to monitor the population. They now admit this. Intelligence agencies like the CIA, MI5 and Mossad, they admit that they use Facebook to combat the war on terror. And we can all help combat the war on terror by joining Facebook, and all we have to do is update our thoughts, our feelings, our location, whoever we're with at that location, in a permanent chronological timeline. So if you want to do that, that's fine. But
I just wanted to say a big thank you to Jim Grant, who put together such a stellar comedy showcase for us. And to all the amazing comics who donated their time and came up to entertain us and to support the Bilderberg Fringe. And thank you so much. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Great. Round of applause for Hannah and all the people that put the staff together. Round of applause for all the acts seen this evening. Up first, you saw Pompey, Tony Maurice. You had John Biswas. You had me. You had Mel Crosby. And you had Del Strain. Thank you ever so much for all your hard work. Have a great weekend. Viva la Revolution. Cheers. Thank you.
And it's last orders, I believe, at 10:30 here. So I would get them in.
Prisoners not permitted to drink past 10:30 in the UK.
Could you make your way back to your neighbouring villages?
Yes. Lovely.
Citizens of the world, we regretfully inform you that the Matrix will not protect you in case of extinction. You can only fool around playing virtual roles until the planet's life support system keeps you alive. At this point you have to notice that the so-called 6th mass extinction has begun, thanks to the Anthropocene, the age of humans. our civilization is in deep crisis on all levels. But what is worse, our civilization has put humanity's host planet's ecosystems at risk, triggering off a mass extinction event. Without an environment providing all necessary requirements to host human life on Earth, all our political issues become meaningless. Loading. Operation Tardigrade. Solving the following challenge will grant your species access to the next level of existence, based on mutual aid and free eco-friendly technology, to boldly go where no man has gone before. The knowledge and all required information can be found around you, inside you, and on the internet. Failing this challenge will result in extinction of the human race. So whenever you're ready, unless you are a tardigrade, get crackin'. We are anonymous. We are humans. We are an endangered species, condemned to extinction by its own kind. We are not defending nature. We are nature defending itself. Expect us.
The next generation would be justified in looking back at us and asking, what were you thinking? Couldn't you hear what the scientists were saying? Couldn't you hear what Mother Nature was screaming at you?
This movement is in the tradition of every great movement that has advanced humankind.
We're not going to recognize it. We don't want to discuss it.
It is right to save humanity. It is wrong to pollute this earth. It is right to give hope to the future generation. Don't let anybody tell you that we're going to get on rocket ships and live on Mars. This is our home.